Hello and welcome to this audio-visual presentation. We are group number 1 and the company we have chosen to look at today is Toyota Motor Company North America. My name is David and I will be providing some background information about Toyota and then a detailed look at Toyota's business model canvas. Tun will then take over to look at the internal forces which affect Toyota's business environment, with Daniel analysing the external forces. Ryan will then outline the company's scenario planning strategy and the 3 proposed hypothetical scenarios, with Amanda finally detailing how these scenarios will impact the operations of Toyota, with some recommended actions also. Our presentation should take approximately 15 minutes, and if you have any questions, please hold them for the end of the presentation. Let's begin. The Toyota Motor Company can trace its roots back to 1933, when the Toyota Group's founder's son, Kiichiro Toyoda, was given charge of the newly founded automobile division of the company. Since then, Toyota has become the largest and most influential automobile manufacturer in Japan, and second largest in the world, second only to Volkswagen from Germany. Toyota's business model for selling cars is to partake of as many markets as possible by offering a wide range of options in the automobile market, such as hot hatches, pickup utility vehicles, sports cars, and luxury sedans. Toyota has always prided itself on its innovation in the automobile market, and is currently the world's market leader for hybrid electric vehicles, which began production in the late 20th century. In efforts to stay ahead of the competition, Toyota also makes significant investment into new technologies as they become easier to realize, such as plug-in engine hybridization, fully electric cars, and hydrogen fuel cell powered cars. Toyota has also become well known for its business practices, such as just-in-time production, Kanban warehouse scheduling, and lean production techniques, which combine together to create a competitive advantage for the company. The company's overall vision is to become the most successful and respected car company in America, and the mission is to attract and attain customers with high-valued products and services and the most satisfying ownership experience in America. How the company proposes to do this can be seen in the value proposition section of the business model canvas on the following slide. This is a look at Toyota's business model canvas. Obviously, it would take too long to go into too much detail, but I wanted to bring to your attention a couple of key points. Firstly, in the customer segments section, you will see a wide variety of consumer markets listed. This is through design, as is part of Toyota's business strategy to try and appease as many consumers as possible. Second, the wide variety of value propositions which Toyota brings to the table. These come together to provide a sustainable business model which does not rely too heavily on one market segment or one time frame to provide value to customers. Finally, I'd like to draw your attention to the key resources and specifically the brand. The name Toyota means many different things to many people, but over the last decade, the company's brand has suffered somewhat due to product recalls due to faulty engineering and the current greenwashing scandal that it is currently embroiled in. Now I'm going to pass you on to Tun, who will talk more about the internal forces affecting Toyota.
Thank you, David. This slide shows the stakeholder mapping for Toyota USA. We've identified who has what level of power and interest in the organization. Media outlets and local community generally have low interest and low power over the company, whereas people with high interest and low power would be the suppliers and customers. Government agencies such as the Environmental Protection Agency has low interest but high power. Stakeholders with the high interest and high power besides the board of directors and shareholders are the workers. This is the cultural web within Toyota. They have a very deep-rooted history even for the revolution of their logo. No matter where they do their business, they will always have Japanese as board of director. Toyota encourages their worker to continuously improve and get it right the first time. They also practices a culture where everything needs to be informed and go through their main office in Japan, which can be viewed positively and negatively. This is Toyota USA value chain diagram. For their support activities, you can see that their automotive plants are robotic with human operators. They practice Kaizen working culture with non-unionized workers for majority of the plants nationwide. They have strong arms in R&D, including Quality Designs Research Incorporated, and they practice a very transparent procurement through Toyota Industries Corporation. Their primary activities consist of them obtaining materials from the local suppliers in line with the company's policy to support local economy. Toyota operations run on their groundbreaking Toyota Production System, TPS. Toyota Motor Sales deals with 1,200 dealerships in 49 states for their outbound logistics. They also provide their own financing to customers via Toyota Financial Services as part of their marketing and sales, and Toyota generally have 36 months or 36,000 miles warranty for their brand new cars. We look at the strengths and weaknesses of Toyota USA. Amidst the world chasing fully automated factories, Toyota hybrid working culture is acknowledged even by Elon Musk to be the better way. Toyota is very innovative. They are the first automotive company to mass-produce hybrid vehicle, and TPS, or their just-in-time lean production, is exemplary even outside the industry. Companies like Intel and Nike have production systems based on TPS. According to Forbes in 2020, Toyota is the most recognizable automotive brand. Toyota values their employees. This helps them run factories without union, and it is shown to be more productive in comparison to companies that run with unionized workers. Toyota also have a large portfolio that covers most demographic. Toyota's weaknesses including their hierarchy organizational structure that prevents fluid development. Them relying on global chain supply partners could possibly jeopardize their production in any case of a disaster. As of late, Toyota faces greenwashing scandals and faulty recalls that could affect their reputation. Toyota also have a very low return of equity and assets, which means that they are not optimizing shareholders' capital. Now, Daniel is going to talk about the external environment affecting Toyota's current strategic position.
Thank you, Tun. External environmental factors that affect Toyota's current strategic position has been formulated and assessed using the PESTEL analysis tool. On the political front, rapid changes within the political landscape and conflicting government policies on climate change issues, i.e. reduction of carbon emissions expected from the automobile industry, are significantly shaping Toyota's current and future strategic position. Toyota recently signed up to the Environmental Challenge in 2015 to reduce 90% of CO2 emissions by 2050. The aforementioned climate change issues are driving the rapid changes in technology within the automobile industry. As a result, electrification and hybrid technology are seen as the way forward of achieving such ambitious targets. However, there are significant lack of data and know-how in this new trend when compared to conventional fuel types. On the social front, electrification and hybrid concepts are less popular, particularly in the US, when compared to China and other European counterparts. From the economic perspective, the ongoing pandemic and US trade wars with China are contributing and shaping Toyota's production capability and subsequent return on investment. To examine the potential threats facing Toyota's strategic position, Porter's industry analysis tool has been adopted. These include threats from new and major players such as Tesla and Ford, who are driving and leading the US market in terms of electric and hybrid technology concepts. These, as a result, lead to limitation in suppliers, infrastructure, and resource availability. Threats of automation and artificial intelligence are driving manufacturing methods and processes. Consumers have nowadays become more conscious about safety issues, emissions, efficiency, and comfort, and managing such expectations and perception is becoming a challenging task for the automobile industry. Opportunities that can be explored under such eminent threats and circumstances involves Toyota positioning themselves in the gray areas associated with the new trends in technology by pioneering and championing innovation projects through continuous research and development, which will in the long term underpin Toyota's strategic position as a true global market leader. The increased growth in consumer behavior and stakeholder expectation provides golden opportunities to develop new product lines, services, and added value. Thank you, and I will pass you over to Ryan.
From the information and data collated from analysing the internal and external environment of Toyota, we have identified two core environmental factors which cause concerns for and have the potential to exert a significant degree of influence upon the organisation's business operations. Those core environmental factors are as follows. Firstly, changes and shifts in trends within the automobile industry, predominantly the movement from petroleum and diesel operated vehicles towards those which utilise renewable energy sources. Secondly, the increasing need for organisations to make appropriate changes in their operations to ensure that they are more sustainable, environmentally friendly, and help contribute towards meeting the UN Sustainable Development Goals, as well as making more progress towards the climate change emergency which the world currently faces. So from those factors just stated, as well as the analysis of the organisation using the various analytical tools and frameworks, we have found that several driving forces and critical uncertainties provide scope and enable us to envision potential scenarios which may arise and either benefit the organisation or indeed pose challenges for them. If we look firstly at the driving forces, we can see that changes within the political environment have been listed. This factor has been selected as a newly appointed administration under President Biden has made a number of changes which encompass both threats and opportunities for Toyota. Therefore, this factor is at the forefront of considerations for scenario planning. The second driving force is the increasing efficiency which technological innovations embody, providing solutions for organisations and enabling them to create further value across the business. As Toyota's culture embodies problem-solving and quality control aspects which enable them to operate such an effective and efficient production system, the adaptation of innovative technology within their operations would be unequivocal and beneficial, although questions still remain as to the overall impact that this would have on employees. Moving on to the uncertainties, what our research and analysis illustrates was that there are flaws within Toyota's production system, which gives potential scope for disruption to its business operations. By using a just-in-time supply chain process, it means that Toyota are reliant on each stage of the supply chain working effectively, and that all stages of the logistical system is free from disruption. Otherwise, there is a probability for issues arising for the company. Also noted as an uncertainty is emerging into new markets for Toyota. What is meant by this is a conflict between their current strategic positioning and the direction in which they are currently taking the business, although this will be explained in more depth just shortly. With those core environmental factors, driving forces and critical uncertainties in mind, we therefore propose the following scenarios which conceivably could occur in the near future. First of all is Scenario A, which is positive for Toyota. With the newly appointed 46th President reinstating the US to the Paris Climate Agreement and the proposition of other new enactments and incentives, it is feasible that this could influence and allow Toyota to merge further into new markets by having a degree of financial support. Next is Scenario B. What this proposed scenario demonstrates and reiterates is how external factors can both influence positive change, as well as negatively impact upon strategic position of the organisation. In the case of Toyota, this is a very difficult situation to consider, evaluate and manage, as the organisations place emphasis both on how they value its employees and how they strive for efficiency and productivity. Lastly is Scenario C. As has been seen recently in the southern state of Texas, where Toyota's North American division headquarters is based, adverse weather systems have caused vast damage to infrastructure, causing travel disruption and leaving many without electricity. As many of Toyota's US production sites are located in areas where natural disasters are more likely to happen, this proposed scenario has the capacity to cause significant issues for the company. Now I'm going to pass you over to Amanda, who's going to discuss the impact of scenario planning and how you manage scenario planning.
Thanks, Ryan. This table represents the three scenarios reflecting a positive, negative and mixed impact for Toyota. We present the following recommendations which provide ways for Toyota to take advantage of each scenario, enabling them to continue competing commercially as well as shining light on strategic positioning despite potential trade-offs occurring. To illustrate this, we have utilised a SWOT analysis with the impact column representing a measure of how much Toyota's business will be disrupted, either positively or negatively, using a star rating to evidence the level of impact caused, i.e. 3 stars equal high and 1 star equals low impact. Looking at scenario A firstly, we can see straight away, despite instability of the political landscape, as well as the public perceptions formed by the greenwashing scandal, Toyota will thrive under this scenario. Toyota not only benefits from the financial investment in product enhancement and delivery of service, but they are also able to be in a position to take advantage of markets and industries moving in a more sustainable model, something that Toyota have been doing for a long time, waiting for these variables to shift into place to provide the infrastructure Toyota need to make this next step easily and seamlessly. Looking at scenario B, raising the minimum wage can help with inflation, putting more money in the hands of people who need it most, helping the economy overall, increase wages and spending, raise demand and create more jobs generally speaking. However, with the pandemic causing havoc on global and domestic economies, this could potentially lead to loss of jobs and restructuring within companies. Toyota prides itself on employee retention and collaborative working models. Restructuring has the potential to jeopardize this model and therefore a reputation of being a good employer. With Toyota's culture of employee relations being so embedded in the company, this will affect Toyota with mixed impacts, with some risk, but overall this is likely to impact Toyota employees less so than other auto companies. Furthermore, Toyota have always been key contributors of innovation. If a restructure was necessary, it is likely they would initiate new models of working, relying more in technology, further capitalising on efficiency. Lastly, looking at scenario C, many automotive companies are based in southern states of the USA due to cheaper costs. The increase of unpredictable and damaging weather patterns is likely to be costly for Toyota. However, maximising on partnership working locally could be a great asset in this scenario and would help Toyota to maintain their strategic position as industry leads and at the same time help promote and support the industry as a whole, given this scenario is likely to affect not just them. I will now pass you back to David for the conclusion. Thanks.
That concludes our presentation. Today we introduced to you all Toyota US and had a look at its business model canvas. We discussed the internal and external factors which have significant impacts on the company's operational and strategic decision making. We then analysed the core environmental factors which affect Toyota, and finally outlined our 3 hypothetical scenarios: green incentives, policy-induced labour market change, and climate change, and how they would affect strategy. Thank you all very much for listening, and we would like to open the floor to any questions which you might have.